Third down and 20.
I want to get into Daniel Jones because I think that a lot of Giants fans are questioning whether or not Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback for the New York Giants for the long term. And should the Giants be looking at a new quarterback in the offseason? So I set out on a quest. And my quest was to figure out whether or not Daniel Jones, in fact, was the or should be the starting quarterback for this team. And I think the first thing that we have to look at when we're analyzing Daniel Jones is who was he coming out? Who was he as a college prospect? And I think the best way to answer that question is with this clip. Because Daniel Jones, the first thing you notice is just his comfort in the pocket. The guy, he just looked like he belonged in an NFL pocket. A lot of that has to be credited towards David Cutcliffe, his coach, who got famous for coaching Eli and Peyton Manning when they were in school. And a lot of those traits seem to be passed on to Daniel Jones. And the other thing, not only was he comfortable in the pocket, his footwork in the pocket was really good as well, which is really all on display in this clip against Clemson. Daniel Jones, this Duke team that he was on was honestly atrocious.
Yeah, they were horrendous.
They were terrible, and he legitimately carried them. They would probably be a team with a losing record if they didn't have Daniel Jones. Some of the other strengths that I liked when he was coming out was he was good at reading defenses. He knew the look that he was getting pre-snap, and he knew exactly where he wanted the ball to go. He was able to use his eyes to maneuver safeties and zone defenders to where he wanted them to be so he could fit a ball into a tight window. And he's a tough kid. He's not afraid of contact. He'll step into contact. But what were his weaknesses? And I had two major glaring weaknesses with Daniel Jones coming out. The first and the biggest weakness for me was his deep ball, his go route, 45 yards, drop it in the bucket. And it was just super inconsistent. Whether, on this clip, he's going to be throwing it short. There were times where he would throw it long. And it's not a question of his arm talent. It's just a question of his touch and his accuracy. Whether it was an off-platform throw on the run or he had time and space, he just was not able to hit this throw consistently. And the other major issue that I had that you'll see on this clip is just that there were times where he just kind of made some mind-boggling throws into coverage. I don't know if he thought that he could fit a throw into a window that was really tight, or he just didn't see a defender, but he would do that on a relatively consistent basis. And my last minor issue that I had in my notes that I had to scrounge up from 2019 is that I thought that he would hold on to the ball a little bit too long at times, but every college quarterback does that. So it wasn't a major negative. But now we need to fast forward to 2020. Daniel Jones has started 22 games for the New York Giants. And we've got to see a lot of tape from Daniel Jones. A lot of good and a whole lot of bad. Steed will be the first one to tell you about his turnovers. I'm pretty sure he mentioned it on either the last episode or the episode before last. And
I think it was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, you have the stat, right? The that Jamarcus Russell stat?
Yeah. I mean, through the same amount of games played, to whatever point, whatever episode I said it in, to whatever point of their career they were at the same game mark, he had more turnovers than Jamarcus Russell. So, I mean, not the category you want to be put in, but...
Yeah, not exactly the guy you want to be getting compared to as a first-round pick, Jamarcus Russell. Mm-hmm. He's the worst end of the spectrum of guys to be compared to. And when I did my Daniel Jones film analysis of his snaps this season, one of my main problems that I had with his tape is that, and this was one of his strengths that I just said that in 2019 I thought, is that he's not reading defenses post-snap quickly enough, and he's not making decisions quickly enough. And I think that this play does a really good job of illustrating that. So on this play, you're going to have Sterling Shepard the outer guy in this bunch. He's going to run a little drag route. And then Golden Tate in the slot is going to be running a post. He's going to go out a little bit and then like a quick slant, kind of like a diamond slant. And this play, I am 90% sure in most offenses is known as flanker post. And what you're looking for is, okay, if it's man with no one in the middle, you're just going to hit the drag. And against any sort of zone, the drag should take a linebacker or a slot corner, whoever's in that zone, and then open up space right off the back of it for the post. And on this play, first off, it's man coverage from the Bears, and you're gonna see both guys open. You have Sterling Shepard wide open, ready for the drag. And then in behind it, Golden Tate's got space too. And what does Daniel Jones do? He doesn't throw the ball. He gets strip sacked for a turnover. And I think you get a really good angle of it from the back here. Like, he just takes too long to make up his mind to read the defense and make a throw because it's there. By the time he wants to make this throw, he sees this safety playing as a robber coming underneath towards this drag, and he hitches the ball twice, he fakes it twice, and then once he decides, oh crap, it's too late, it's not there, he moves on to the post. He's done. The pass rush has gotten there. And this is a major problem that I saw because this is week 2. This is his second season. He is not a rookie anymore. He already had 10 starts or 11 starts actually under his belt. Yeah. This is an easy throw. This is gimme yards. This is not, this is a look that you like to see as an offense. He is running wide open, 3 yards of space. Safety 15 yards away. This is a throw that Daniel Jones, at this stage in his career, not that he should make, he should be able to make it with his eyes closed. So let's go into another clip. This is week 1 against the Steelers. And this is the turnover where he holds onto the ball for too long. Bug Dupree hits his arm when he's trying to throw it away, and it ends up as an interception on the goal line. Mm-hmm. And I look back at this, and let's just rewind right here. Just take a look at Saquon Barkley in the flat.
Yeah, he's wide open.
That's
a touchdown right
Yeah,
there.
He's open. But not only that, you have Saquon Barkley up against defensive backs. This is the exact matchup that Jason Garrett wants out of this play. You just give the most talented running back in the league the ball in space. That's a touchdown. And this is just another example of Daniel Jones taking way too long to make a decision. Now when he wants to throw it, he's looking at Saquon, it's not there. He's trying to find something open in the end zone. And he even takes so long that when he tries to throw it out of the back of the end zone, his arm gets hit for an interception. This is just unacceptable. And this has been a common theme for Daniel Jones. This is not something that happens only once or twice a season. I could go on for probably an hour with examples. I'll keep it at 3. And then this is recently week 8, Monday Night Football against the Bucs. Mm-hmm. Everyone probably knows this play. This is the 2-point conversion play where they try to hit Dion Lewis. First off, this is an unbelievable play call by Jason Garrett. This is open. This should have tied the game 100% because they have a rub route. They have both of these tight ends, and then this guy out here just creating so much of a mess for Winfield to try to get through in man coverage on Dion Lewis. The ball should be out of his hands way earlier than he threw it. Once the ball is snapped, he should be looking to get the ball out of his hands. Just throw it here. What is he waiting for? You just have to ask yourself, why is he waiting? Is he just not processing the play quickly enough? I mean, granted, Winfield makes it a really good play, but this is wide open. And it should have been a tie game. And these are the problems that you see in Daniel Jones. And I was someone that liked Daniel Jones coming out. And it's just frustrating because to most quarterbacks in the NFL, these are gimme throws. These are, it's wide open, It's quick. Just give it to me. Let me take what the defense gives me. And this is not his only issue. Not only is he struggling to make decisions, he's struggling to get through his progression. And after watching a lot of his film early in the season, I've coined this thing the Daniel Jones process. And the Daniel Jones process is basically, he does what he did in college. He reads the defense pre-snap, and he picks a matchup that he likes. Hey, that's all good. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, these are guys that made a living off of doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then he stares it down. He's not able to read the coverage post-snap quickly enough, and he stares it down. And there are one of 4 outcomes that happen in the Daniel Jones process. The first, and the best, is that the guy he's staring down, the matchup that he picked pre-snap is open, and he makes the throw. Makes it quickly, on time. It's good. All good. Hey, that's fine. But then there's the 3 outcomes that happen when he is covered. The player that he's staring down is covered. The first, the other good result from the Daniel Jones process generally, is he gets the ball to his check down. Hey, all good. Hey, that's exactly what you're taught. Your read isn't there. Get the ball to a check down. You're supposed to get through your progression a little bit generally, but hey, it's fine. Read, check down, all good, all good. But then there are the 2 outcomes you do not want. And here is the first example of the outcome you don't want. He just throws the ball anyway. He just says, fuck it. I'm just throwing the ball in a tight window. Like that problem that I mentioned with him coming out of Duke, just those errant throws. Just what do you see in there? Well, I think that's a problem of him not being able to recognize coverage and process information quickly enough post-snap. And that problem seems to be amplified with the speed of the NFL. So here's a play against the Bears, probably his worst game of the season. And he's just going to be staring down this tight end right here. He does not get through a single player, a single read, aside from this tight end running this curl. And the problem is that they have a safety that is reading Daniel Jones's eyes. He's looking, where is Daniel Jones going to throw this football? And this safety in the NFL is obviously going to see if you're staring down a player. He makes a really good break on the ball. Ends up in an interception for a touchdown. I believe that's Eddie Jackson, by the way. Now, luckily for Daniel Jones and the Giants, this was called back as pass interference, which was a very questionable call in my opinion. But he got away with one there. But this is the problem. And then we get to the other part of the Daniel Jones process, which is sometimes equally as bad, is when instead of just throwing the ball into coverage, then he tries to make plays with his legs, which kind of has a large variance of outcomes. We've seen, especially in recent weeks, Daniel Jones make some really good plays with his legs scrambling. But then you get plays
Really
like this
fast.
against the Bucs, where he's changing some pass protection, doesn't get through his reads, tries to find the check down isn't there, and what are you doing? What are you doing? And the big problem I have with this play, and what I have with the Daniel Jones process in general, is that, okay, we're going to see, let me skip too far. He's going to be reading this Golden Tate in the slot here. Not open. Okay, he's not open there. Then he gets to the check down. Check down isn't open. Then he goes and tries to use his legs. The problem with that is that he is not going to see this receiver wide open over the middle. He's got the time. He's got the pocket. And this is one of the other issue when you look at these problems that Daniel Jones is having, is that this was looked at as a strength of his coming out of Duke, is his presence in the pocket, his willingness to not escape the pocket, his decision-making pre-snap and post-snap, the way that he would read the field with his eyes and maneuver defenders. And one just has to beg the question, is the game just moving too quickly for Daniel Jones? Because it's almost like his strength was his play in between his ears, and now that's become his biggest weakness, is what's going on in between his ears. Because this is a play that could easily be a first down. And it ends up as an interception. He starts trying to use his legs. Someone starts hanging on to him. He sees Golden Tate get a yard of space. And for some reason, he thinks that he can make this throw. When he has a guy wide open over the middle of the field in a clean pocket. Okay, not the cleanest of pockets, but there's no one within 5 yards of him. This is to an NFL level quarterback in his second season. This is a throw that you need to be making. There's really no excuse for this. You're not a rookie anymore. You can't use that excuse. And it's just frustrating. Let's get to the positives. I've crapped on Daniel Jones. I'm making fun of him with this Daniel Jones process. But at the end of the day, he's had some pretty successful weeks these past couple of weeks against the Redskins and against the Eagles. Two big divisional games. And he's coming out with wins, and he's not turning the ball over. Now, why is that happening? I think the first thing is that you have to give credit where credit is due to Jason Garrett and the Giants' offensive line. The Giants' run game is much more productive than it's right now in these past couple weeks than I've seen in the past 2 seasons. And that's with Saquon Barkley. The offensive line is doing a really good job. And supposedly Joe Judge has been spending a lot of time with that group. So whether it's Jason Garrett, Joe Judge, whoever, you have to give credit to them because they are making space for the Giants' passing game. The second thing that I think that Daniel Jones is doing better recently and why there's hope for Daniel Jones, and you need to give him until the end of the season before you make a concrete decision, if you're the Giants general manager, on whether or not you're giving up on this guy, is that you're finally seeing things that he did well at Duke. You're finally seeing the flashes. And I think this play against the Redskins is a really good example. I showed that clip, first clip, him using his eyes to maneuver a defender, snaps back to the seam and finds an open tight end against a good Clemson defense. Well, look how Daniel Jones is able to use his eyes to maneuver this safety to the right and then hit a vertical to the left. They're running a 4 verticals concept. And he opens up looking to the left. And it takes the safety, drags him to the right side, which then in this 3-high zone creates a 2-on-1 for this corner. You can either cover Evan Ingram or Mack on the sideline. And Danny Jones does a great job of finding him and throws a great ball. This is a 50-yard. This is a huge play for the Giants. And you're finally seeing these flashes that Daniel Jones showed at Duke. You're finally seeing why you took this guy early in the first round. And the other thing, too, with Jason Garrett, not only is the offensive line playing better, I think they're tailoring the concepts that Daniel Jones is running towards his strengths. Yeah, he's not able to read defenses quickly in the quick game. But I will give Daniel Jones credit where credit is due. In the intermediate passing game, he is elite. He is very good on digs, deep curls. With time in the pocket and time to read the defense and see what's going on so that he can confirm what he saw pre-snap. He's really good. Just look at this is a play week 1 when he was playing like crap. Steelers are calling a wacky zone. You have the slot corner, Mike Hilton, just running way down here. Like, what is going on here? Daniel Jones doesn't panic. And look at this throw. He starts winding up this throw on this deep curl right here, even before the guy is turned around, his receiver. This is a phenomenal throw in between 2 defenders. This is on 3rd and 16 from your own goal line. This is a fantastic play from Daniel Jones, and it shows you why you can't give up on this guy yet. And I think recently, Jason Garrett and Joe Judge and the staff have been tailoring concepts to this strength. We're going to see a play here early in the Eagles game. And, at face value, you might think that this is a weird concept. You're going to get a slant from the outside, a slant flat, and you're going to have 8 guys blocking. And on paper, you're thinking to yourself, man, this is kind of a bad play design. If it's not there, if the play's not there, what is he going to do with the football? But think back to the Daniel Jones process and what he's been struggling with this season. He's not getting through his reads. He's not making decisions quickly enough. This is a play tailored towards Daniel Jones. Let him just do a 2-man concept. If it's not there, he'll use his legs and run with the football. What he was doing before, but now you get 8-man in pass pro, and you're letting him work a concept that he loves to throw, intermediate passing over the middle. It's a fantastic. This is a really nice play from Daniel Jones. You can't say it's not. This is a beautiful throw.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
in the second window, in between 2 players, 3 players. And this is what Daniel Jones' strength is. But at the end of the day, if I'm a general manager, I asked this question at the beginning. Is Daniel Jones the future quarterback for the New York Giants? I'm going to have to say no. And I'm someone that liked Daniel Jones coming out. But at the end of the day, if the Giants are in a position to select a quarterback like a Justin Fields or like a Kyle Trask, I'm just not sure you can pass up on that. I think that Daniel Jones, while he can play in this league, I think that, when you think about who he was coming out, it's just really tough for a player that isn't able to maximize their strengths and correct their weaknesses to have long-term success in this league. I'm just not sure he's processing plays fast enough and processing information fast enough at a position where that's the name of the game. You have to be able to do this. He can improve. He's still young. He's only 23 years old. But if I'm Dave Gettleman, if I'm the Giants general manager, quarterback is not an area that I can overlook. And if the Giants are in a position where they can draft one of these top tier quarterbacks, if I were the general manager, I think it's time for Daniel Jones to be over in New York.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you because I would lean that way too. I know he's not really considered a rookie anymore, but he is still very young. And you've seen him the past 2 weeks kind of play a little bit better, and they've figured some things out, and they've led to wins. Now that doesn't exclude he could go back to his original self where he just is not picking up on plays as fast as he should. And definitely, if there's a player like Justin Fields, and I have to see more about Trask, but a player with the athletic ability of Justin Fields, I don't see how you could ever pass that up. But that being said, if Daniel Jones is able to still improve during this season and lead the Giants to lead the Giants to a playoff and win the division, then I think that choice becomes harder. And of course, then they wouldn't be able to get Fields as they would be outside of that top 18, top 15 pick, anyways. And Fields is probably going to go top 5, top 10. So, but that's what really it comes down to these final 6 games for Daniel Jones if he's going to be in a Giants uniform next year or not. Because if he doesn't continue to improve, then that means the team's not going to win, and that means he's gone. But if the team continues to improve and they win, then it's a reevaluation. But his job would probably be a lot more safer than it would be if they continue to lose.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Right now, Daniel Jones is definitely playing for his job. The one thing I think that is going against him a little bit is that Jason Garrett has simplified this offense because he has a quarterback that has a lot of flaws. And in a league like the NFL, I truly believe that can only get you so far. Obviously, you have to tailor your offense to your players, whether offense or defense. You have to maximize the skill set of your players. But as of right now, and you're right, it's too early to give up on Daniel Jones. I mean, I still like Daniel Jones, and his toughness will get him far. Because he's the kind of guy that it doesn't matter what the media is saying about him. It doesn't matter how hard he gets hit. He's going to come back, and he's going to come back 100%. But
I really talk that much. I really don't even know what his voice sounds like.
But it's almost it's tough to, if I were a general manager, not reevaluate this quarterback position because the guy that we took has so many flaws. And not that he has so many flaws, he's struggling to improve on these flaws. And you can argue from his rookie year to his sophomore season, he's gotten worse.
Yeah.
But you're right, he's playing for his job, and he's got a big opportunity here. At the end of the day, it's not over for him. He's only played 22 games. He's been and let me just put this out there as well. It's not like the Giants' skill players have been doing him a ton of favors. Time and time again on tape, especially early in the season, Giants fans know this as well as anyone. Evan Ingram has been horrible. He does, for every good thing he does, there's two catastrophic mistakes, that leads to some of these turnovers and lack of success. And the other thing I saw a lot as well is that, especially early in the season, the amount of third and longs you're asking a young quarterback to try and convert is just, it's too much. And that's at least one thing that I like about the Giants a lot now, is that with this, almost newly invented running game, where they're creating a lot of holes and a lot of space and a lot more concepts tailored towards Daniel Jones' strength. You're not asking him to put the team on his shoulders, the offense on his shoulders, and for him to, okay, if you throw for 303 touchdowns, we win, but if you turn the ball over, we lose. That's not what you need to do with Daniel Jones. And I think that the Giants, especially Jason Garrett, has realized that. And in his play calling, he's calling a lot of friendly concepts. And you've seen as well a lot of concepts that they ran at Duke now being run in this Giants offense. I saw a couple, where they're shifting the offensive line so that you're getting Daniel Jones on the run, a lot more zone read where you're using Daniel Jones' legs. That has been probably, the shining, the gem right now of Daniel Jones has been, he's a lot more athletic than people gave him credit for coming out. He's a lot better with the football in his hands. Obviously, there's the meme of him tripping against the Eagles when, from the turf monster, but at the end of the day, you can't tell me that Daniel Jones isn't effective with the ball in his hands down the field. He's making plays with his legs, and you got to give him credit where credit is due. And they've been taking advantage of that.
No, that's true. And it's kind of like when we're seeing this new mold of this Giants offense. And before that, it was kind of like if Daniel Jones shined, then the Giants had a good chance of winning that game. But if he got back into his knack of turning over the ball, there was no way in hell they were winning the game. I think that has to do a lot with his mental game. And that's why you saw, wasn't maybe the sole reason, maybe he just clearly doesn't get it at this point of his career, but maybe a little bit in his mental where he's thinking that he has to do too much because if he has to be the man for this team, because if he doesn't make this sort of kind of play, they're not going to win. I mean,
Yeah, you're definitely
it,
right. And that led
it,
to a ton of his mistakes.
yeah. I mean, how many games has Saquon actually played with him? Like Saquon, it was the number 2 overall pick, and he was supposed to be the guy. How many games have him and Daniel Jones realistically played together? I mean, I think it's got to be less than 5. He was hurt last year too, wasn't he?
I don't know the number off the top of my head.